Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about 10 amazing products that I have absolutely fallen in love with. These products I have been trialing out on and off camera throughout the months of December and January. It's been a really long time since I did a favourites video. I didn't do one at all in December, so instead of this video being an hour long, I've decided to limit myself to 10 products, which has been really difficult. The majority of the products that feature in this video I have not spoken about on camera before. So I usually start my favourite videos with a little bit of a news section. This is going to be no exception, although this news section is slightly different than my others. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for subscribing to my channel. If you haven't already, I'd love it if you do that at some point in this video and click the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos like these. I do not take any of you for granted. I think you are all superb, and I'm not sure if you noticed, but I think it was just before Christmas, just after Christmas, we hit the 200,000 subscriber threshold, and it is still climbing. So I am so grateful to you all. I did do a dedicated thank you video for all of my subscribers that if you didn't catch that video, I will link it at the end of this video. Definitely worth the watch. There are some outtakes in there, as well as a few blasts from the past, not only of myself, but also of my mum as well. Just a little bit of a view, a snippet of the journey from way back when until the current day. I'm just super grateful for all of you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to do the job of my dreams. So just want to take this opportunity to say a huge thank you. Huge thank you. Huge. Another person I want to thank is Bev May Sanderson. Bev is the founder of Maysama, and she actually featured on my channel last week. If you haven't seen that video and you are interested in LED technology for skin rejuvenation, highly recommend you check it out. There's been a lot of advances in science and evidence, and I learned a lot whilst filming that video, and I thought I knew everything that there was to know about LED technology and red light therapy. But also in that video, I did receive a lot of comments asking for more information about the Maysama Prana red light therapy mask. Now, I was going to talk about that in this video anyway. I'm going to scoot that off to the end because that's going to be quite a long section. I want to talk about why I really like that mask, the benefits of that mask, whether you need that mask if you've already got the CURRENTBODY mask. So I'm going to talk about the similarities and differences between that and my favorite CURRENTBODY mask. And I'm also going to talk about the differences and who I would recommend it to if you already have a light panel or if you're thinking about a red light therapy light panel. So if you are interested in that, stick around to the end. If you're not, you can always click off just before that section starts. Just, you know, I'd rather you didn't, but always the option. Let's jump into the 3 products I've already spoken about on my channel before, and then we will move on to pastures new and talk about the other 7. Believe me, it is worth the wait. So the first product I want to talk about that is a love for me, this is a desire, this is a want, this is not a need. You do not need this in your life. If you want it, that is another story altogether. Oh, so beautiful. This is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked palette, and it is just stunning. Now, I got more than I bargained for here. I didn't think I was going to like every single shade in this palette because, fault of my own, I picked the deepest colour story that they have. So there are 2 other colour stories in this product that you can get if you have a fair skin tone. I, trying to make it difficult for myself, decided that this was the best value for money for me because there are 5 new shades in this palette, and I already own a lot of Hourglass powders already, so this was the best option for me. And boy, was I not wrong. This is so beautiful. Yes, these are super pigmented, so if you do have a deeper skin tone than mine, this is just going to be unreal for you. If you have the same skin tone as mine, you have to be careful with this palette because it's punchy. It's definitely punchy, but because of that, you need so little product, 1 tap of a brush in the product, and it blends out beautifully on the skin, and then you can build it up from there. If you get a lot on your brush, this is gonna be frightening, but glorious. And I love a blush anyway. I do love a look where the blush really does stand out. I think it makes me look more youthful. I think it makes me look more vibrant, more awake, just glowy. And yeah, this does all of those things. Just wanted to let you know that if you do have a really fair skin tone, you can definitely get away with this palette. And it's gotta be one of my favorite things that I have tried throughout December and January. It's just divine. Moving on to the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush. I love this stuff, and I'm actually opting to use this over the Rare blush that this is supposed to be a dupe for. I think it's way nicer. I know, shocking, but I honestly think it is a lot nicer. I think it's easier to use, although it is as pigmented as the Rare Beauty blush. So if you don't like that blush because of the pigmentation, you're not gonna like this one either. I think this is slightly more beginner friendly, only slightly, but it is slightly more beginner friendly and easier to blend for me. This doesn't go patchy on my cheeks, which the Rare blush sometimes can do for me. I just love everything about this, and the shade range is beautiful. This is my favorite. It's Dusty Rose. I love this blush so much. I often, before I apply my makeup, have a little bit of an inner argument with myself regarding which blush I'm going to be choosing that day, and it's always a difficult pick. Do I use the Camo Liquid Blush, or do I use one of the blushes from my Hourglass Unlocked palette? Honestly, the struggle is real. If you are wanting to try this, because of the unreal pigmentation that you get, I would advise that you apply this on the back of your hand, smooth it out, and then go in with a brush and dab to blend, rather than applying this directly to the cheek. If you apply this directly to the cheeks, you are going to get yourself in a lot of messes if you apply too much, and you know, it's just not worth wasting the product. It's good stuff. Next up, we've got the Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Stick. This is the mini. It's not the full-size version, and I love that about this. So a lot of brands are bringing out minis of their full-size versions for, I would say, a couple of reasons. One, it's a great way of trialing out the product without buying the full-size version if you don't know you're going to like it. But also, two, not everyone can afford or justify going out and buying the full-size version for that amount of money. And usually the miniature is not as good value for money, so you get less product for your money in the miniature instance, usually, but it's not always about that. The initial outlay is a lot less, so it gives you that opportunity to try something out that you usually wouldn't have been able to afford, and that's exactly why I bought this. There is no way on earth that I would have felt strongly enough about this before trying it to warrant buying it for the price of the full-size version. I may now get the full-size version, but time will tell. And let's talk about time for a second, because there's actually quite a decent amount of product in here, regardless of whether it's smaller than the full-size version. You're actually getting 0.9 ounces or 2.5 grams in here, and I hardly use any of this when I'm using it. You get quite a bit. I would have thought this is going to last me 6 months of daily use. It's a really good rock of product that you get here, and it's not so super soft that it melts all over the skin. It's actually quite hard pressed product. So yeah, it's gonna last you quite a decent amount of time. This is in the shade Biscuit, which is a great shade for me for underneath foundation and also over the top of foundation as well. It's not one of those shades that looks muddy on me if I apply it over the top of foundation. In fact, on my cheekbone here, I've used it over the top of my foundation today. On my forehead, I've used it underneath the foundation for a little bit more subtlety. So it is very versatile. Really liking it, and I am loving the fact that a lot of these brands are bringing out miniatures just so that everybody can try them. Once this hits the skin, you've got a really long time to work with this. So if you like to apply your contour products before your foundation foundation and you like to do the whole thing in one go, so maybe it's sat on your skin for 5 or even 10 minutes before you start to blend it out in certain areas, you do not need to worry with this because it blends out like a dream regardless of how long you've left it for. It's just so smooth and so creamy. It is lovely. It does not go patchy. It is not cumbersome to blend out like some contour products can be if you leave them on the skin too long. This is just stunning. Really, really nice. It's very, very similar in consistency to my Makeup by Mario contour stick, which I also absolutely love, and I own that in the full-size version. I'm not quite sure what the price comparison is with both of these. I will try and work it out and put it on the screen for you. I did a video not so long ago about all the products that you'd recommended to me that I was absolutely loving. A lot of the recommendations were for the Aquaphor lip balm. Now in the UK, unless you pay a fortune for it on Amazon, we can't get Aquaphor, or please correct me if I'm wrong. I have looked for it, I can't find it anywhere other than paying an extortionate amount on Amazon, and I just don't really see the point in that when it's supposed to be an affordable product. I do know though that a sister company to Aquaphor is Eucerin, and I found the Acute Lip Balm from Eucerin and I love it. So this is a really thick yet creamy feeling solution that you apply to the lips. It sticks enough to the lips so that it lasts all day. However, there's no greasy or sticky feel on the surface of the lips. It feels very, very comfortable, and your lips don't stick together, and your lips don't stick to a glass when you're drinking out of it, or the straw when you're drinking out of a straw, like they can with some lip products. So really impressed with this, and the ingredients are top notch for my lips. My lips are loving it. So within this formula, we've got licorice root extract to soothe the surface of the lip. If you've got really dry, chapped lips, that's a great ingredient. We've also got panthenol to nourish and really lock in that moisture. Evening primrose oil to moisturize and once again soothe the surface of the lip. We've got glycerin, the unsung hero in skincare and lip care as far as I'm concerned. Great ingredient for the lips, great for hydration. We've got Parky butter and also hydrogenated castor oil, once again to nourish and moisturize. And then vitamin E, which is also great at nourishing and moisturization, but is also a great antioxidant, so is going to provide you with that free radical protection. All in all, this is a great product. It works. I have tried out a lot of lip products in my time. This ranks up very highly in my list of favorites, and it's affordable. I've just remembered that I was supposed to be talking about the 3 products that I previously mentioned on my channel first, and then move on to the new stuff, and I've not done that. I got carried away. And also, I've just realized that there are actually 11 products in this video, not just 10. Obviously, I couldn't narrow it down. Maths has never been my strong suit. You're just gonna have to overlook this. I've no idea what I'm doing. I'm only going to fleetingly mention this next product because at the moment it's out of stock, so it's just unfair of me to wax on about it too much, although it is stunning. Oh, really, really beautiful. This is one of my favorite palettes of the moment. It is the YSL Mini Clutch palette in the shade 100. This keeps going out of stock and coming back in stock. If you want to keep on checking the YSL website, that is probably your best bet of actually finding this in stock in the UK. So the YSL Mini Clutch 100, have this on my eyes today, blends out like a dream. It is just superbly luscious. Not sure if that makes sense. Creamy, soft, blends beautifully. It's very beginner friendly. I just love it. I said I wasn't going to wax on. I'm putting this down. It's also beautiful packaging, got a great mirror, great for travel. Keep talking. Another favourite from Hourglass, this is the Phantom Volumizing Glossy Balm. I wasn't interested in this when it first came out. There are actually 16 shades of this. The only thing that grabbed my attention was they recently released 4 new shades. And I'm not quite sure why that sparked my attention because the one that I ordered was one of the older shades. It makes no sense. However, I will be now ordering one of the new shades, which is in the shade Crave, which is a warm pink. I ordered one to begin with. Usually I order two of the products like these just so that I can compare and contrast. And I didn't do because it's quite a pricey product. And on their homepage, it does look like the swatches run a little bit deep. So I was worried that this was going to be too deep for me and make me look a little bit ghost-like. That is not the case. So the shade that I have on today is Sense, which is a peachy beige. I will be picking up the shade Crave, guarantee. This is such a glossy sheen on the surface of the lip, and it's such a soft, glossy, balmy consistency. It's extremely comfortable. The volumizing aspect, I don't think it volumizes the lips at all. I think the gloss gives you the impression that your lips are slightly volumized. However, you do get that cooling sensation on the lips that a lot of volumizing products will give you. So if you like that, definitely try this out. I personally find it very, very comfortable, very cooling on the lips. So yeah, it's quite nice and relaxing, I think. It feels gorgeous. There is not a hint of oiliness, not a hint of stickiness. I'm not quite sure how long this is going to last me though, because although I think it lasts on the lips for a decent amount of time for a gloss, I would say a couple of hours, and then I'm reapplying. But because it's so soft and because you don't get a lot of product, you're only getting 0.5 ounces or 1.7 grams, I've just got a feeling this is going to disappear quite quickly. So you have to be in the market for a bougie lip balm to warrant buying this, I think. But I will let you know in a future video how long this lasts for, because I'm using it all the time. It is that luxurious and feels just superb and looks gorgeous as well. Love it. One thing I didn't mention is this definitely isn't a drying formula. If you're wanting something with a balmy consistency with a lot of pigment, because this isn't just a sheer amount of pigment, it's not just a little touch of pigment on your lips. You can't see any of my lip color poking through. That's how much pigment is in here. I would say medium to full coverage of your natural lip tone. So yeah, really nourishing, very hydrating formula, definitely non-drying. I love everything about it. So I've been loving barrier creams recently because with the cold and the wind and the rain and the dog walking and standing next to football pitches watching the kids play football, my skin gets a beating on a weekly basis, and I just want to repair and replenish all the moisture that's lost with a great barrier cream, and this one definitely is that. It's got some great ingredients in there, and not only that, this is such a rich, thick, creamy, and without being suffocating, really quite heavy on the skin cream. If you don't like a heaviness of a cream, you may not like this, but I love that. The ingredients list is extensive. It is a long one. Honestly, this formula is packed full of some amazing skincare ingredients. It does come with a great dispenser, which dispenses just the right amount of product because this is seriously rich and a very thick consistency. Have I mentioned that already? Very thick, heavy consistency. Does take a while to sink into the skin, and you will get that little bit of tacky residue on the surface because it needs to seal the surface of the skin to block any of that moisture from escaping. It does it very, very well, but if you don't like that feeling on the skin that you do have something on the skin, this is definitely not going to be for you. It is just glorious. Beautiful consistency, just, oh, very thick, very thick. Another product that I've talked about in a previous video is the Inkey List Bioactive Ceramide Repairing and Plumping Moisturizer. Now, although this is a great product, it is not a dupe for the Drunk Elephant Moisturizer by any way. It doesn't have the same ingredients, it doesn't have the same consistency or weight, it doesn't feel the same on the skin. However, some of the ingredients will do a similar job, as in they will look after the skin barrier, they will replenish and repair, and this will boost moisturization and hydration as well. Very similar to the effects of the Drunk Elephant. So if you are after something that is slightly lighter weight, if you don't like a really heavy cream, this one actually may be your preference. This is a much lighter consistency than the Drunk Elephant. Although you get that richness, it's not overly rich that you can't use this first thing in the morning. So if you do have really dry skin, this may be the best thing ever for you and maybe your preference over the Drunk Elephant. As for me, the Drunk Elephant cream can only be used in the evening, whereas this is multi-purpose. You can use it morning and night. This also doesn't give you an oily or sticky residue on the surface of the skin, and it sinks in really, really well. So if you're after something without that stickiness or tackiness on the surface of the skin, this one again may be your preference. It does have a bit of residue at the beginning, but give it 5 or 10 minutes and that does sink into the skin and dissipate. If you're wanting something that's heavier and more affordable than Drunk Elephant, however, this is my pick. This is the Byoma Barrier Repair Treatment. This is packed full of goodies and it gives you that feeling of just richness on the skin. Again, for me, this is not one for morning use. This is one that if my skin really needs some care, some damage control, this is what I plaster on my skin before I go to bed. 10 minutes afterwards, this has sank into the skin. Again, this will leave that film on the surface to prevent any transepidermal water loss, but I love that about this. This formula has quite a simple ingredients list as far as I'm concerned. I think that the ingredients that are in here are simple ingredients that pack a punch and do their job very, very well. Just beautiful ingredients, and yeah, this really surprised me. I am hoping that the mechanism in the pump doesn't malfunction on me like some of the other Byoma products that I've had that have been quite thick in consistency, so I'm keeping all fingers crossed. I've only been using this one and trying it out for a few days, but it had to appear in this video, especially as I was talking about the Drunk Elephant product. And I wanted to give you an alternative, and this one, although the ingredients list are completely different, this is the one that is most similar that I've been trying out recently. Next up, we've got the L'Oreal Bright Reveal Dark Spot UV Fluid. This is an SPF with a 50+ protection, and it is a lovely SPF. Very similar to the other L'Oreal SPFs that are on the market, and also the La Roche-Posay. Slightly thicker in consistency than La Roche-Posay, however, still very fluid in consistency anyway. Very lightweight, applies to the skin beautifully, sinks into the skin effortlessly, does not leave a white cast, it doesn't have an oily residue on the surface of the skin once this is absorbed. It's just lovely, sits under makeup beautifully as well, and it does not pill on me. So win, win, win. So as well as having the LHA caprolol salicylic acid to reduce those dark spots and pigmentation, we've also got niacinamide within the formula as well, which is great at evening out skin tone. Not only that though, this has also got some lovely plumping peptides and also glycerin to hydrate. It does contain a very high level of drying alcohol, so if you are very sensitive to drying alcohol, this one may not be for you, or at least it may not be for you every single day. The SPF filters in here are second to none. This gives great protection. So we've got ethyl hexyl salicylate, Tinosorb S, Uvenol T150, avobenzone, phenylbenzimidazole sulfonic acid, and Mexerol XL. Superb broad spectrum SPF, great product. However, it is for a specific person. Not everybody is going to need this or want it within their skincare routine. If you have dark spots on your skin or hyperpigmentation that you're wanting to reduce, and you only use a moisturizer and an SPF within your routine, if you don't have any direct acids within your routine at all, this one may be a great addition for you, that you can kill two birds with one stone, reduce your pigmentation and protect your skin at the same time. If, however, you do have quite a well-rounded skincare routine to begin with, you're already exfoliating your skin with a direct acid, this one may be a little bit of an overkill, and because of the direct acid within here, it may irritate your skin and over-exfoliate slightly. So again, it is for a specific person, and that may not be you. And finally, let's move on to talking about my new love, the Maysama Prana Red Light Therapy Mask. This is such a great LED device, seriously phenomenal product with lots of added functions in there. This is extremely versatile, which is one of the reasons why I've really enjoyed using it recently. So I've been using this now for probably a couple of weeks. Obviously, I'm not going to see results from this because I've already been using my LED Current Body Mask, which is a regular in my skincare routine. So switching it out for this one, I haven't seen any extra benefits in the very short space of time that I've been using it. But watch this space, I will come back to you in a later video. So why do I enjoy using this so much? Well, first and foremost, it's extremely comfortable. The double straps on here make it so that it doesn't feel like I have a lot of pressure on my skin. It's extremely flexible silicone, and the nose bit on the Current Body Mask used to give me a bit of an indentation line, which took a while to disappear after I'd taken my mask off. This actually doesn't create any sort of indentation on my face whatsoever. So for that, this is great. Another reason I love this so much is because it's extremely versatile. It includes pulsed light capabilities, so you get the benefits of pulse light when you want it. If you're not sure about what pulse light is, I will link the video featuring Bev, who will explain all of that in that video and why she believes pulse light is actually better than static red and near infrared light combined. The versatility doesn't stop there though, because this mask actually gives you the ability to add and subtract different light elements from your routine to completely personalize your treatment to how your skin is on that specific day. So if you want to just use red light, you can. If you want to incorporate red light with near infrared light, there's also a function for that. And if you wake up with a few blemishes like me and you're wanting to use some blue light that day, but you're also wanting to use red light as well, you can do that too. It's all achievable with a very easy to use controller. The last thing I'm going to mention about why I love this mask is it doesn't have a mouth hole, and that's really beneficial for me. If you usually use an LED device and you want to be able to have sips of drink through a straw while you're using it, that may be a negative for you, but the reason it's a positive for me is that one, it doesn't touch the mouth, so it doesn't feel claustrophobic, it doesn't feel like I'm being gagged. I can still breathe completely well, it's very comfortable, but because it doesn't have that hole, you're getting red light therapy not only around the mouth, but also on the lips as well. So if your lips are your problem area, you're also going to get rejuvenation on that lip area as well as around it. So, I mean, it's only a bonus for me. So, do you need this particular mask in your life immediately? Well, I'm going to answer this in two different ways. Number one, if you don't own any sort of red light therapy mask or panel and you can afford to invest in it, I highly recommend that you do because they work. They are proven scientifically to work. So they can reduce fine lines and wrinkles, reduce pigmentation, reduce texture, increase suppleness and firmness, reduce crepiness on the skin. They are just superb pro-aging devices. So if you can afford to invest and you don't have a red light therapy mask or panel at the moment, I highly recommend that you do. And this one is an amazing mask because it's so versatile. If you already have a red light therapy mask already, then I think it is down to personal preference. The only reason I would recommend this one to you rather than just continuing to use your original device that you already have in your home, if you want the pulsed light capabilities or you're wanting the versatility of turning certain lights off or adding certain lights in, then this one is definitely one that I would recommend. Other than that, stick with the device that you've got because it can still give you those benefits. So how does the Prana mask compare to the Current Body mask? If you already have the Current Body mask, this bit is for you. Well, it's got a similar level of LED lights on there, so that is incredibly similar. I do think that the Prana mask, the lights are dispersed a little bit more evenly, so you're gonna get slightly more coverage. The lights on the Prana mask are all the way up to the top of the mask, whereas there's quite a big gap on the Current Body mask. Whether that will make any difference whatsoever, I don't know. Obviously, a major difference is the Current Body mask does have a mouth hole, whereas the Prana mask does not. You've also got the capabilities of the added blue light plus red light function for the Prana light and being able to turn off the near infrared function, which you don't get on the Current Body mask. However, even though I think that the Maysama Prana mask display is really easy to control, if you're after something that is just point and click, the Current Body one is way simpler. Another difference with the Current Body mask is that it only has a 10-minute treatment program. If you're wanting to have any less time than that, you just have to turn off the device manually, whereas the Prana mask has 4 different treatment time capabilities. You can have 1 minute, 3 minutes, 6 minutes, and 9 minutes, which is great for the pulse light because if you are using pulse light, you don't need to use it for as long. 6 minutes is the recommended dosage, if you will. Also, you can see how long is left on the countdown timer, which is on the display, which is completely unnecessary, but actually I've found it really useful. Last but not least, how does the Prana mask compare to the Maysama light panel? Well, I actually prefer the mask, and here's why. So if you're wanting to use pulse light, this is visible pulse light on the panel, and I find it really difficult to tolerate, even with goggles. It sends my mind a little bit wappy. That is not going to be the same for everybody. Some absolutely adore the panel. One of the major benefits of having the Maysama panel instead of the mask is that the panel will treat multiple areas in one treatment. So as long as it's on and you're close enough, it will treat the face, the neck, and the chest, whereas the mask will obviously only treat the face. I do think the mask is more beginner friendly. I think the manual is easier to follow and the treatment itself is easier to handle. So if you've never had any sort of red light therapy device before and your main area of concern is your face, then that is where I would probably point you towards. So that is it. That has been a really long favorites video, hasn't it? I apologize. I hope you have all the information that you need. If I haven't covered anything that you wanted me to cover, please let me know in the comment section and I will get back to you as soon as physically possible. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Let me know how your week's going in the comments section. I always love to hear about your day. Hope to see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.